This podcast contains adult language, descriptions of violence, sexual references, and other possibly offensive themes. Listener discretion is advised.
Welcome to this episode of Back to the Story, where friends come together to play Dungeons and Dragons. I'll be your DM, Klouse. Let's get started.
How do three paladins of separate gods?
But if you ask me what my calling would be, I'd say that of a defender of my friends. I would give my life to see them through.
I could have, but I didn't. And every day has been beautiful since.
I think I'm surrounded by good things.
A cleric on a hunt for redemption.
I need it for my friends, family, these people that I love, who have always been the answers to my prayers.
Whatever the hell you are.
I don't know if deserving has anything to do with anything.
A storyteller.
And if you ever need me ever again, let me know.
And one I haven't figured out yet.
I think that would take me a while to find someone more knowledgeable than me.
All come together. And there's not a bit of fate in that?
I think you mispronounced friends.
Well, I will drink to that.
When you see God's rest surrounded by armies, then know that his desolation has come near. Take these wings to Nyessa. Carry them home.
All right. Who's ready to cry?
Always.
Alright. Chapter 40. Sacrifice. Previously, on their pilgrimage to Nyessa, the Scales found their wizard Melly kidnapped by a group of bugbears known as the Black Paws. Rushing quickly to free her, as the Scales found signs of a struggle and rested for the challenge ahead, Melly tried her luck with burning a few Black Paws, earning an intense interrogation and additional restraints. Waking, the Scales tracked the Black Paws through the woods, avoiding traps along the way and preventing a scout from warning the Black Paw post of their approach. Scouting ahead, the Black Paw outpost was sighted and the Scales planned their assault upon the Black Paws and the rescue of Melly. Finally, the plan was executed. Amsen turned Ezekiel and Ellory invisible, who spider climbed past the sentry and over the wall to Melly, seeing a small army of bugbears. Ellory began to break Melly out of the chains as the rest of the Scales assaulted the outpost as a distraction. The Black Paws rose, the alarm rising their ranks and officers for the charge, firing arrows from fortified walls. Ellory continued to break Melly out as an inspired ball stepped through the thunder with Kalvyn into the center of the Black Paws. Surrounded, the two resisted an onslaught of maces and morning stars, slowly cutting down the Black Paw ranks, surrounded by holy flame and light. A bearded bugbear in black iron armor and a burning morning star, clearly the commander, charged upon the duo, struggling to break through divine aegis, shields, and armor, but cracking bone when he did hit. Ezekiel called upon a pack of wolves from Asidma who, rabid and ravenous, crashed like a wave against the Black Paw line. Finally, as the Black Paw ranks dwindled, the wounded commander took a chance to threaten the Scales into surrender, knocking Kalvyn to the ground, declaring he would kill him if the Scales did not retreat. With another thunderous boom, Val stepped with the unconscious Kalvyn out of the ruined fortress to safety when the half-orc's heart stopped beating and blood slowed to a trickle. Vesper attempted to channel the life-giving divinity of Aine, shattering the diamond to dust in a flash of silver light. Kalvyn's chest did not heave, nor breath pull in. Ezekiel called upon overgrowth of plants to cover the plateau, slowing the escape of the remaining Black Paws, as Ellory conjured a furious storm, lightning breaking their bodies. Ball was enlarged over 20 feet, leaping the chasm in a rage-filled tornado of fire. In moments, any survivors were struck down by lightning or flame, leaving the entire outpost engulfed by fire as the Scales made their escape. We come back to the story here. The light mist of rain has risen to a steady drizzle, causing steam to mix with the smoke of the burning plateau. In moments, the roof of the tower collapses in a crash of flying embers towards the sky. The cold rain washes you of the grime and blood on your bodies, chilling you to your bones as you stand upon the edge, watching the ruins burn. What would you like to do?
How does Melly look in this moment?
She doesn't know what to do, and she's kind of just looking at Vesper, and she's just going to say, why didn't it work?
I'm so sorry. I don't think I was ready. I don't
Jane, you weren't ready?
I had only just got my magic back. I don't think I was strong enough.
Bullshit. Vesper, don't do that. We all were there when you received your forgiveness, and even if you're still on the path, the diamond broke. She sent you the power. You had the power. You asked for a miracle. And it doesn't always work. You know that. You prayed for a chance.
You did nothing wrong.
If Ayin didn't help you because she still thought you needed to be punished, then that would be real fucked up and shitty on her part, not on yours.
I'm sorry it didn't work.
You're redeemed. You've got nothing to apologize for.
This doesn't have to be our last hope. I still have the fire blossoms, and I'll be honest, I don't know what clerics we may find in Briarbridge. We can look, but even then, my order has ways. They are different, and I imagine not as preferable to Kalvyn. But perhaps at Briarbridge or back at the tower, Saffron Garden where I trained, they're more formal. There may be hope. The wagon's not far. I'll go get it and we can load up.
If I get some sleep, I can help preserve him for a few days. It'll help us get him back with a better chance.
Do we want to stay the night here, or get away from this place before?
Maybe just at least walking distance away? Not too far. We're all kind of beat up a little bit. Perhaps a little bit of a walk away from this raging inferno would be good for us. Find some peace.
Should Ball carry Kalvyn?
If he's fit to.
Zeke went to go get the wagon. I'm bringing it back.
A few moments go by as Ezekiel brings the wagon back, pulling it over. Ball eventually shrinks down to size after a few minutes. Ball can lift him and put him into the wagon.
Thank you, Ball.
Ellory's going to spend a few minutes, I guess, trying to arrange Kalvyn, straightening his hair, smoothing out his mantle, and then she's going to go step maybe 10 or 15 feet away from the rest of the group for a minute and put down the hood of her cloak and just let the rain wash over her.
And Vesper this whole time is just holding Amsen's hand and hasn't let go.
Amsen won't either.
As you all place Kalvyn and Ellory, you let the cool, chilling rain wash the grime from your hair. You guys eventually can turn the wagon, and are you just finding somewhere nearby, but away from this? Okay. You turn the wagon, leading it away from the burning outpost behind that is slowly being put out by the rain as you move into the tree line a bit, putting some distance in between you and that place. Finding a secure enough place, covered at least partially by the boughs of the trees from rain, that still seeps through. You try to find rest?
Yeah.
Okay. You do so, taking watches as you need to. The rain gets a little harder as the hours go on, but never a full storm, just a hard drizzle. Eventually it moves back to a light mist and passes the storm going south. The morning greets you, the sun burning away the dew upon the grass. The sky's clear, not a cloud in sight.
Did anyone need healing before we went to bed? I can try and use my healer's ability. Or the medic ability. And that's a failure, so I'll take that failure. Motherfucker. That's 2 failures, sorry. Anyone else hurt?
I think Ball was, so roll one for him.
He can take a full die.
Yeah, and I've got a bunch of spells left, so I can make sure he's full up.
Okay. And I think that was everybody. So.
Yeah, I still have lay on hands too, so. He should be good. Well, the Grove is actually the closest destination. We can stop there first. My elder can explain reincarnation a little bit better than I can. And if it is not an option you want, we can look. But we'll hit it before we hit Briarbridge.
Vesper or Melly, maybe one of you can send a message to Orizana and ask her if she can look for a cleric in Briarbridge. Then, I guess, we can send another message later to find out if she's had any luck.
Melly, I'm about to use a big spell on Kalvyn. Do you want to? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'll do it. Do you want me to just message that to you, DM?
Yeah, you can message or say it, your choice.
I will tell Melly to also specifically ask about the Green Knights clerics.
Okay. Okay, can I have a minute to think of the message?
Yeah.
Cool.
So Melly is preparing to cast that spell, her message.
I will pull out 2 copper pieces and place one on each of Kalvyn's eyes and cast Gentle Repose.
And what does that look like as you cast that?
I think it's just as they're placed, there's like a soft, maybe silver glow that kind of like passes over him, almost like a shroud being laid upon the corpse, and then it fades.
And I'm assuming that we would have gotten all of Melly's belongings out of the chest and returned them to her either the night before or in the morning. The rest of whatever's in there we can look at later.
So as Melly's preparing to cast her spell, and as the silver veil is filled over Kalvyn, keep death at bay. Are you going to wait on the message, or are you going to head anywhere in particular?
I can lead us to the Grove if we want. Sorry, what were you going to say?
I would actually, at some point in all of this, look at our new friend who we met, who was also captive in the outpost.
Oh, right.
You can see he's like been staying close by, but a little ways away, giving you privacy.
So, I assume you'll be wanting to get to wherever your home is.
Well, that would be nice. However, thank you very much for helping free me. I know that wasn't your intention, but I appreciate it all the same. It looks like you're dealing with some heavy stuff, so I'd be pleased just to tag along. I'll be a little quiet. Name's Cleric, by the way. Cleric Dovnak.
If you want to tag along with us, that's fine by me.
All right, thanks. I'll just I'll whip up something for you. And thanks. He kind of tips his fur-lined cap, kind of a Santa Claus type cap, and then kind of moves to the back of the line to give you all privacy. Melly, as you speak the words, you hear words in turn. Gods, I will go check. I'll find out. I'm not sure I will let you know, but I will find out.
I'll just send a thanks in response and then tell the others that she's going to look for them.
DM, I guess I don't quite know, is the Grove on the way back to Briarbridge, or is it like kind of off at an angle, or?
It's northeast of Briarbridge, so it's not on the way back, but from where y'all are now, you're probably closer to it. So it wouldn't be on the way, it'd be a little out of the way, but it would be closer to get there than to Briarbridge.
Okay. So, with that in mind, where would you like to go?
Melly.
I can let you know the difficulty with our magics is that, unlike Vesper, druids cannot revive this body, but we can build him a new one. It won't look like Kalvyn anymore, but his spirit would be in it. That is the best that we can offer at the Grove, and I understand if you would perhaps want to seek another solution, but the time window on this I know is not Not terribly long, though. If Vesper continues this, I suppose we'll be alright. I just want you to know.
Should have about 10 days for all effects. He should basically be as if he's been dead only for a few hours. It prevents decay and it prevents him becoming undead.
I think we should either wait and give Orizana a chance to look first, or start on the way back to Briarbridge until we have an idea if she found something, and then if there's nothing, then go to the grove.
There might be another option. DM, how long about do you think it would take for me to use a whistling song, which its message takes half as long as it would to take a bird to fly the distance in a straight line to get a message to my grove leader?
From where you are, maybe a couple hours?
I didn't think about it before. My leader may be able to get us to Nymenet. Someone may have power there. We could get close. I can ask. I would know in a few hours. Even if it's while making our way back towards Briarbridge, we can start that journey. But I can ask.
So we have a few options. I don't feel like sitting around and waiting. I think it would drive me crazy. I'd rather be walking somewhere while we wait.
I agree.
Ezekiel, did you send a message? Or are you waiting?
I'm just trying to figure out what it would be. Because I only get 10 words. I will go off to the side and, putting my fingers in my mouth to whistle towards the trees, and I will ask, Mother, can you get me to Nymenet or Briarbridge? Love. That's all I get.
Whistling, Ezekiel. A few moments later, you hear a distant echo again of your message being passed between bird and creature alike, traveling until you can't hear it any longer.
We can continue walking. They'll find me.
Good. That spell didn't take as much magic as I thought it would. I have 2 messages if I need to send more. But I'd like to use one, if I can, for myself.
Yeah. I think, Melly, is that
alright with you? If I use one of my 2 messages?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I guess as we start going, I will send a message home to Lysander, I think. And I've already counted out the words. And I say, Father, lost time in ferry, back now. Still going to Nymenet. Can't say more, you can reply. I love you. Miss you. Speak again tomorrow.
A moment later, you hear his voice in your ear. Child, we love you too. So glad you're safe. Do what you need to, but come back home. Love. So as Vesper is whispering these messages out, and you're waiting for messages from Ezekiel's mother, are you all just going to wait, or are you going to head in one direction or the other?
I think Zeke was sending us somewhere.
Okay.
I personally think that the Grove is our best bet, even if you're not going to take them up on that offer.
Okay. So, Ezekiel, you begin to lead them in that direction. As you'll move for the next hour or so, the crags that are so deep next to this gulch grow more shallow, less pronounced, less steep, and eventually disappear altogether. As you continue east and a bit north, the terrain gets difficult in parts between the plant growth. It's thick here, hard to maneuver, but Ezekiel kind of knows the way and winds you through without too much difficulty. There are places now as you get closer where there are walls of plants, vines, growing along the boughs and bushes, walling off areas between trees. You can see areas where Ezekiel directs you around where there are what looks like harmless grass. He points it out, and you can see spikes and thorns with red tips. You can hear squirrels running along the boughs and limbs above you as you edge closer. And as you're moving, Ezekiel, you hear a wind whip up, rushing through the forest. You see the leaves tumbling, at times shaping into what appears to be legs or wings, moving towards you and swirling around you and clipping up towards your ears. We hear a voice. Child, yes. Come and let the circle take you in.
I will turn to the others and smile. She can get us to one of those two. No matter what, we have that. Follow me.
As you continue along the way, more of this intense overgrowth. And as you're coming through a narrow area of crossing a creek on a felled log, you hear a looking to your right, Ezekiel, you see it first as you see a large tree moving slowly through the woods. Coming to the stop at the edge of the small trail, watching. You see 2 knots in the trunk for eyes as it looks down upon you, this massive oak.
I will step forward and wave, and in druidic, I will say, hello, it's good to be home. These are all friends of the willows.
You see the tree slowly creaks its head towards the group and then back towards you. The trunk opens up a mouth, and you hear a strange sharp Ezekiel, you hear, welcome, returning brother. The Guardian's eyes are upon you now. And then it turns towards where you're heading, as one of its boughs, as arms lifts, pointing. You can see now that it's moving and speaking. There are faint runes that now aren't quite glowing, but are more present when it moves. Druidic symbology.
And I guess as we're getting closer, I will very quickly teach everyone the password in Druidic. They need to get through the defenses.
Okay. You teach them how to speak the words in Druidic. Strange to pronounce for those that don't know it. And as you continue to move forward, you begin to see the columns that you are so familiar with. The first, you see the rings of waxing moonlight. Columns, 5 stone columns risen from the ground, surrounding one in the center which covered in that moss that you know to glow at night, druidic runes carved upon them. You see some followers in their robes, giving up everything else, tending to plants, trying to help them grow, watching the birds, whistling to them, practicing. Further in, you see the waning rings. There are more trees now, as you whisper the words of protection. As you enter, large ash trees, ruined, watching. You start to see now wardens, Ezekiel, the sort of night protectors of this order, as they watch with their staves out, coming forth but seeing you. You see these rings have 6 columns surrounding one in the center, ruined as always, as the wardens kind of watch, looking upon you as the wagon creaks past. Further in, you continue. When you see the moonlight ring in the center, larger than the rest, where the phrase must be uttered. As you approach this one, larger columns rising higher, you can see more trees here, fog obscuring your vision past. You can see entangling vines snaking as if sentient serpents, wrapping around in circles around this large ring. You see a few more robed individuals with vines as belts that watch you as you approach towards the outer edge, watching you, Ezekiel, at the head.
and I will speak nature's order under moon and stars. Damn, it is good to be home.
And as you say that phrase of relief, the fog that's obscuring the ring before you pulls and twists back, revealing the interior. This outdoors ring of columns, ruined and covered in moss and vines, the serpent-like vines running thorned along the ground twist and break back, forming into benches and tables. You see the guardians who stood watch, ready to strike with boughs of ash, creak down into their passive forms of their trees. You see the wardens step to the side as a few druids look up. And in the center, next to the column, you see Mother. A wind wall surrounding that center column, keeping all at bay. The wind dies down and relieves as you walk in. She takes a step forward. You see a woman, looking of elven descent, with light brown, nearly blonde hair that shimmers in the light. Eyes large, calm face and expression, with angular cheeks. She could be anywhere from 20 to 400 years old. It's hard to say with else, as a small smirk crawls across her face, seeing you, Ezekiel, approach once more.
I think at that, Ezekiel just starts running forward, and he's gonna, leap into the air and, turn into a fox midway and just, happily bounce around to some of the others on his way. It's a very sad moment, but he's very happy to be home.
You bounce along to some of the others, one of which Dane kind of reciprocates, turning into a cat for a moment, pawing as you move along towards Mother Willow.
And I will compose myself, and after maybe, nuzzling around her ankles, and then back up to human form, and I'll give her a hug.
She embraces you and kisses you on the cheek. Child, I'm happy for your return.
I'm happy to be home.
Shall we have much to speak of?
Yes. I'm afraid the others, I couldn't bring them home. I'll have a story. We'll gather everyone up tonight, and I'll talk about it. These are my friends, the Bronze Scales. And unfortunately, we are just going through a recent tragedy, but one we may have the means to undo.
She smiles politely to each of you, gliding forward gracefully, looking over the wagon to where Kalvyn lies. I see. She looks back to you, Ezekiel, as a smile forms across her face, and you see flowers sprouting around her. How can I help?
For now, I think we need to decide that amongst ourselves. I'll look to the group. I won't presume to know what Kalvyn would want compared to any of you. There are some things I need to do around here, but Dane, if you could just show them someplace quiet to be so they can decide what to do.
I can do that, yes. If you would please follow me. As this gentleman in his middle 30s comes over, more well kept than the rest of the druids and followers and wardens. Seems like he has a fairly clean shave, keeps his hair fairly clean cut compared to some of the others, but still walks with no shoes. This way, we'll find a place for you. He leads you off, not too far, but out of the ring, towards a grouping of trees, where there is a brook, a small creek that kind of babbles through. There's a few growths of stone from the ground that have formed into near chairs, as he gestures for you to rest here. He points towards a nearby stump, and as he does it, clear water kind of draws up like a well to the near edge, nearly spilling over. leaving Ezekiel back in the central ring with the bones of the earth.
Oh, I figured I'd go and say hi to nameless people around the grove while the scales discuss what to do.
Okay. So you kind of, you do that, catching up with old people, old teachers and students and
specifically,
and
I'll go to the people that were, cared about by the people who came with me, so I'll be doing my, letting at least their loved ones know before I let everybody on the big story. So I'll do that, but we don't have to go through those.
Okay, so as Ezekiel, you do that, we cut back to the scales, who have been given kind of a quiet place to rest and decide.
So, guess I need a plan.
Lily, you doing alright?
What?
You've just been a little quiet.
I don't know what to say. Kalvyn died, and I don't know what to do.
I think... Oh, how long has it been? How long did it take for us to get here?
It only took maybe 2.5 hours. You know that without Ezekiel it would have taken longer, but he was able to kind of guide you through the difficult plant growth.
Do you think Orizana's had enough time to find out if there's somebody in or near Briarbridge who can help? Or should we wait?
I think we should ask. The more knowledge we have, the more informed our decision.
I can message her if you want. I'll just cast Sending and ask Orizana if she's been able to find anyone yet.
There is someone here who can, but only, he says, bring them back from the brink. He says, if it has been too long, he cannot.
Can I ask how long exactly?
Seconds or a minute.
Oh, I'll pass that on.
Unfortunately, it's been longer than that.
That's all I can do too. And we saw how that worked. I have a spell. I've never tried it because it's a bit grim and we've never really had to. I could ask Kalvyn some questions and see what he wants.
Like with Ball?
Yeah, like with Ball. But that was pretty... So it's up to you if you think that would be disrespectful or if I should see what he wants.
I think we should see what he wants.
I think so too, but I'm not sure I can watch.
Yeah. Okay. I think I get 5 questions, so... what, do we need to ask him?
If the first question, if he would be willing to come back different, if that's an option that would be acceptable to him.
I think possibly the first question should be that if he wants to come back at all.
Yeah.
If there's anything that he wants us to tell his family.
And if he doesn't come back, I suppose we should ask what he wants done with his body. Does he want it buried here, or taken to Nyssa, or take it home?
Yeah, that's a good one.
I get one more. Should we ask if he's got anything to say to us? Or just... I don't really want to ask the last question, because it means that he... But, we only have 10 minutes anyways, so maybe we should...
Maybe we should ask that at the end.
Yeah, definitely.
Do you think he would... I know that this is to ask questions, but do you think he would understand and know and remember if we told him something?
He might. Ball, do you remember being asked your questions?
I don't know, do I?
Maybe vaguely, yeah. Distantly, can't remember the details, but you kind of remember the basic gist or concepts, if not the exact wording.
Felt like a dream. I don't really remember what was asked. And Paul's kind of just in there, kind of like brows furrowed, trying to remember what it was like.
I don't remember very much either. I had a different spell, of course, but it really does. I think maybe he'll remember some of it. I think he'll hear us. If he doesn't come back, maybe he'll carry it more clearly. Maybe the coming back is part of what makes it fade. I heard a bit of what you all said to me, so...
Then we should tell him how much he means to us.
Yeah. Okay. If everyone's ready, I'll do it.
So, casting the spell, you prepare the incense, placing them around him, kneeling beside him on the wagon, with everyone else gathered around. And as the holy symbol you hold ignites in a soft silvery light, the wings, the feathers you hold, glow dimly as well as you do this, as you see Kalvyn's mouth, hear air being pulled into his chest. And Kalvyn, you remember fighting the clangs of metal upon metal, roars and snarls and growls and yells of pain and fury in battle next to Ball against this Black Paul commander. And you remember hearing a and everything going black. You see dimly light illuminated once more. You see flames first, not dancing but still, a moment stuck in time. As your vision is transported out of your body, that you see felled upon the ground, you see the enemies frozen, mid-roar, mid-strike. You see Ball ablaze in frozen fire. And you feel yourself being pulled away. You hear... Your vision shifts as you see a massive wingspan of black, shivering purple, a raven. It lands floating as it swoops. The ember light of your soul is swept up behind this raven as it feels as if you're being pulled away, but you don't see anything moving. You just see everything fading away, becoming transparent, slowly fading to where you can't see it anymore. You see it go to black. And as you're traveling, being pulled along by this raven into the darkness, you hear something. You can hear gentle wind. Vesper. In a voice.
Kalvyn, this is difficult to understand, I'm sure. But you fell in the battle. And we have a few questions about what you want us to do. Are you willing to come back to us?
Is she safe?
Yes, Millie's safe. She's with us right now.
Good.
Answer my question, please. Kalvyn, is there anything you want us to tell your family?
That I love them.
We can bring you back in another body. It wouldn't be yours, but it would be new and whole, and you could stay with us. Would you be willing to do that?
A turkey's life is not for me.
What would you like us to do with your body, then?
Send me to Volasol.
We're all here, all of the scales, except for Ezekiel, but the rest of us are here. Is there anything that you... We love you, Kalvyn, so much. Is there anything you need to say to us before you go?
You all are my light. Within you I shine.
It's the last question.
And with that last question answered, Kalvyn, the remainder of his breath is released.
So, that's that, I guess.
I don't understand what that means. I don't understand what we need to do.
He wants to be cremated, I think. I think maybe, Klouse, would I know from Diaro what, a funeral for a follower of Alisol would look like? Can I make a religion check or something?
Yeah, you can make a religion check.
23.
Okay. Funerals to Valisol happen at the zenith, the height of the sun's day, preferably on a solar solstice if possible, but otherwise on the brightest and cloudless day, midday, with a funeral pyre.
It has to be in the middle of the afternoon when the sun's at its highest. The solstice is too far away, but we could, the sky seems clear. We could, as long as the sky's clear. So
we're about to go to a break, but I want to do one thing here first. Let me see what's happening. Well, I've never seen that before. Speak with death on a party member. Okay.
Can we still do stuff, or?
Oh, no, I just read the last part of this guy.
Yeah, but I want to... One more thing. Because it could change what you guys are wanting to do or say.
It says, spell doesn't return the creature's soul to its body, only its animating spirit. Thus, the corpse can't learn new information, doesn't comprehend anything that has happened since it's died, and can't speculate about future events.
That's a little late for that.
Fuck me.
It's okay. It's an interesting use of the spell that I haven't seen, so we're playing a little loose and fast with it.
Sorry.
No.
Should have read my spell card.
And we have to reset the game.
Well, I would say, Vesper, you would know that, like, unreliable narrator maybe is a term. Like, it's working with what it knows, but it's not like a pure sentient thought. And because of this unreliable narration, as you're kind of thinking on it and thinking about the funeral, you remember that first question that you asked. All the others had an explicit answer. That one was left unanswered. Not a no or a yes. Not a no.
So what does this mean?
I don't know. We can try something, and it'll actually give him a choice. You always get a choice if you want to come back or not.
And as you're ruminating on this, unless there's something else, on what to do next and where to go, we'll go ahead and take our break here with, I think, an announcement, or a story, or a joke, or something. A one-act play? I'm not sure.
Next time on Back to the Story.
There's tears rolling down his cheek, and just as they start to kind of fully form, they kind of just like burn up and disappear.
I don't really feel like being alone right now.
You have a choice, child. What is your glory and your virtue? And so be it. Let me cast judgment upon you.
For part 2 of this episode of Back to the Story, you can find it on Stitcher, Google Play, Player FM, or TuneIn. We also have a YouTube channel called Back to the Story, an actual play podcast. If you'd like to support the show, feel free to buy us a coffee at ko-fi.com/backtothestory.